Hi everyone. I'm really delighted to welcome you to the fourth workshop of the Encode Solana Hackathon. I hope all of your projects are coming along really nicely, and I'd love to hear what you're building. So drop me a message on Discord or book in a call with me at the link below. We can have a little chat about what you're up to. So today we're lucky enough to have Ruan Lin joining us from the Solana FM team. He'll be taking us through an introduction to Solana FM's APIs. After Ruin's workshop, we'll be hearing a bit from David Dreyer, who'll be telling us all about the Solana FM bounty this hackathon. That's all I have to say on my end. So, Ruin, if you're ready on your end, then I can hand over to you. Thank you.
A big GM to everyone. It's awesome that you're all tuning in. We are excited to have you here for this quick introductory session to our APIs. I hope you all had a great start into the hackathon and that you guys have been having fun and also met some interesting people. Some of you may recognize me from last week's small community session. I introduced you to our Explorer, the different ways the SolanaFM Explorer can help you with your developing needs. And it is now my pleasure to introduce Ruin, who is SolanaFM's developer advocate. He usually takes the lead in our user support groups. When there are any developer-related queries, anything you can ask him. He's the best person to talk to when it comes to APIs as well, and any queries thereof. So yes, I'm happy to open up the stage for Ruin. And Ruin, passing over to you.
Okay, thanks, Dave. So, hello everyone. My name is Ruin from Solana FM. So, what we do at Solana FM is we are building an Explorer itself. So, mainly our data is actually powered by the JSON RPC itself, together as well as our own in-house suite of API that we actually expose to the public. So, this session here, I'm gonna briefly run through what are the APIs that we actually have readily available for the public to use. And if you guys can just take a look at the screen. Okay, so this is a set of documentations that we have for the suite of API endpoints that provides you data for account-specific data, or you're looking for blocks or domains and tokens as well as transfers. So these are just the very brief overview on how this data actually power the Explorer itself. And I think today the main focus that I want to dive deep into is you can always drop by the docs.solana.fm. That is the main landing dashboard for our documentation site. And together with that, we also have a set of recipes already readily made available for you to actually use it. And I'm not sure if you can see the recipes. Let me just share my entire screen instead. So this is a set of recipes that we try to curate in-house and make it available with the usage of our own set of API endpoints to build a very lean scaffold of what an application could do. So we have things like how can you index a transfers of a particular wallet on chain in Solana and export those data into a CSV file for, say, maybe you are looking into doing an application for auditing services, or you can even do analytics data based on the daily transaction fees on Solana, or you can track the volume that is coming into the ecosystem itself. So going back to the API overview that we have, I would like to put the focus more on the aggregated transfers that we have readily available. So this is basically an endpoint that allows you to input a wallet's account hash, and you can get a full set of paginated aggregated transfers that this account does. Okay, so back to the aggregated transfers that we have. So what we consider as a transfer in terms of building an Explorer is basically any action that has a certain amount of funds moving in from either moving out from an account or coming into an account, we consider that as a transfer movement. So all this movement that does like on-chain transactions that is captured within Solana. So we as an explorer, we have to capture all this kind of data to actually render it, to showcase like this on our explorer landing page, like, oh, what kind of transfers are actually being done on chain, and how can you visualize what kind of tokens are being swapped throughout the entire ecosystem. We have different protocols like DeFi protocols, or you have LPs running out there. So every different protocol has their own set of transactions that we have to index in-house. And this API does that for you. So as long as an account is involved in a transaction, no matter it's like a token swap, they are doing some DeFi related transactions, or is it like a staking or an LP deposit, we could all track all these kind of transfers within this endpoint. And you could also explore the other endpoints that the SFM team has already curated in-house. But a lot of the data, I would recommend that I would say that it's better to retrieve it from the RPC. So things like block data, or you want to get the raw transaction data, whether it's like in a finalized state or a process state, those kind of information, you can actually retrieve it from the JSON RPC endpoint itself. So the actual standpoint that something that stood out for the SFM team is really the transfers and the transactions endpoint, because without having to actually paginate through all the instructions or the inner instructions within a transaction, we already abstracted all of those nesting for you and just provide you with a list of flattened set of transfers. So let me just do a quick demo on like what kind of a data structure that is being returned from this endpoint. So let me get a wallet hash real quick. Look into my Phantom wallet and grab it real quick. This one, and we will go back to the API reference page. So you can actually execute a query here without an issue. Paste in your hash. You can check your timestamp to filter a range. So this gives you the option to actually filter. Oh, I just want a specific range of transactions that this account right here perform throughout this window. And we actually do have another field. So all these are your filters that you can actually use for retrieving the data sets that this API endpoint returns. And right now, I will just try to get this time frame of what kind of transactions do I have. So nope, there's nothing here. Let me get something that is more recent. I have this to this wallet, and let me get this guy. Put it here. Change the timestamp a bit more. So based on this wallet, we could actually see the results as like the transfers movement that is extracted out from the transaction itself. And what we do is that we actually classify the actions of every single instruction. So it could be, so usually when a transaction happens on chain, whether it's like a token swap, so we will use the use case of a token swap, and there will always be a certain set of like fees you have to pay for swapping. So we classify all these actions and cluster it under like as a pay transaction fee, and you can see the source destination account or like ATAs that these funds are actually moving or like flowing out towards. And you can also filter by, so you want to just track inflow, funds are moving into this account, or like this account is making a transfer outbound to certain other ATAs on chain. You can all do, it's all just by the filters field that this API has. And besides that, I think what you can use also is most likely, it really depends on your specific use case, on like what kind of application you're building for this hackathon. There is also tokens data that you can retrieve. And I think a lot of the applications revolves around tokens, or like say maybe accounts. It really depends on your specific use case for this hackathon. But feel free to actually hop in and just like, browse through the set of API reference that we have, or the set of recipes that is really curated in-house. And if you have any questions, you can either just bump Dave or like myself to actually help you solve it up. I think that's pretty much it for the brief overview of like what we have as the SolanaFM API API reference. I'll pass the time back to Dave.
Thank you so much, Rune. Yeah, that would be pretty much it. Rune gave you a very smooth rundown of what our APIs entail, how you can use them. The documentations should all be made available to you. I will just quickly share my screen again. So we are promoting a small bounty for this. The application should demonstrate like an innovative use case of those SolanaFM APIs. Maybe a very compelling use case. This is really up to you. You can keep your ears open what the ecosystem needs. Yeah, surprise us and yourself and everybody else with an unexpected use case with those APIs. And we are giving away 3 times API tier 1 with rate limits of 9,000 requests per minute. And so the 3 winners will be chosen and announced. And yeah, we're really, really curious to see what you guys have in store for us, what you are building for us. We will be announcing the bounty as well officially via our X channels, via our Discord channels, and the Encode team will also be pushing the bounty announcements. Yeah, after this workshop is over, it's probably tomorrow or later this week as well. There are plenty of ways to reach out to us. You can drop us a follow on X or Twitter. You can join our Discord. I will share the invite link in a minute. And yeah, you can use our Explorer at solana.fm. Our docs are available to you. We also have a very beautiful landing page where you can preview some Explorer features. But yes, so mainly the docs are available. Our channels are open to you. You can reach out to us. And yeah, I think I'll just quickly share the Discord link. So you can click it. And yeah, there you go. And I would say that would be it from our side. Are there like any questions, any queries? I'll pass it over to Dan. We're happy here.
Yeah, feel free to post questions in the chat or in the little questions box. While we're waiting for people to think of questions, is there anything in particular that you guys would be really excited to see as a submission for your bounty?
So there were actually a couple of ways users were actually building dashboards, certain dashboard metrics for token transfers. There are interesting use cases for like transfer alerts, which are quite interesting if you want to query specific tokens in an account. So all these are very interesting use cases that our APIs can serve as well. Yeah, maybe Rune, you have also some insights there. Is there anything that we've been working on that has been popping up in our Discord? We're getting quite a lot of requests that relate to accounts, right? The accounts API is quite a hit. So yeah, is there anything from your side that you would also maybe like give as advice to some of the users?
I think mainly it's based on I do see a lot of analytics platforms out there already existing. Things like Dune Analytics, they are quite well structured, and there's also Explorers, not really that much. I think mainly what you would like to explore in this hackathon is try looking into staking, building like a staking dashboard or things that like block rewards. So mainly it's to expose like how well the ecosystem is being integrated, or like we do have a lot of people recently transitioning from Ethereum into Solana's network. So a lot of the data structure that we structured in the SolanaFM's backend side, we're trying to keep these design considerations of like how people from ETH would actually understand Solana's way of structuring data, because there's this one very big hurdle for people that are transitioning from ETH to Solana is the associated token accounts. So this is something that is very, very complex for people to. I would say it's a high barrier of entry for people to actually do a lot of things when they are just about to like start off. So I would say get the domain knowledge there. Once you have the solid foundation for the domain knowledge, it's pretty much everything else will just align itself. Yeah.
That's great. It's an exciting product, and obviously we're really excited to have you working with us, and we're excited to actually have this bounty here. I'm not seeing much by way of questions, which means the workshop was the perfect trio of short, sweet, and and total, which is always good. If you have any final words of wisdom to share with our hackers, those will always be appreciated. But otherwise, we can wrap things up.
Yeah, maybe I'll go first with some final words. Really, don't hesitate to approach us. We are very approachable. Sometimes if we don't reply for a few hours, it's usually because we are handling a request. But please, don't be shy. Just ask any questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question, because also the more you ask the questions, the more we interact, and that's perfect for yourself and for your project. I guess I'm just leaning on what Chase Barker said during the introductory session for the Solana Encode Hackathon. Be proactive. You can be very proactive, plan ahead, and we are very happy to help you here in that respect.
Ruan, any final thoughts to share with our team?
All I can say is happy hacking. I look forward to see all the final products of this hackathon. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you both for that. So I hope everyone in the audience can join us later on for our session with Viets from Big Brain Holdings. Which will be part talk, part kind of Q&A session, which proposes to be pretty interesting. She'll be talking to us about how to pitch your startup, which is always useful to have at least post hackathon, right? I'm sure the SolanaFM guys can attest. That's all from me. As always, do feel free to book in calls. Always happy to hear from you. Oh, sorry, we have one question that's coming from Sophia.
Do you have any recommendations to understand the Solana-specific features, like associated token account coming from Ethereum?
I think there's no such thing as associated token accounts in Ethereum. So whatever you see on chain in Ethereum, as long as like I'm doing a transfer from me to Dave here, all you see is my wallet hash, which is the 0x something something, that gibberish, transferring to a destination address of David's wallet. But in Solana's context, I would recommend reading up on the Solana cookbook, because how a transfer actually works is that if I'm using native currency in Sol, which is in Sol tokens itself, or like Lampots, we usually don't have such thing as an associated token account. It only occurs to cases where like I am transferring USDC, which is a stable coin, to Dave, and for my wallet to hold the USDC token, it actually creates an associated token account, which points the ownership of this associated token account to the actual wallet of my own phantom wallet, or like a backpack wallet. And for you to actually identify that as a receiving end, you actually have to create an associated token account from Dave's side as well, to actually receive the USDC funds that is being transferred. So these are all, I think it's very Solana specific way of managing accounts. The cookbook does explain a lot of that very clearly and very in-depth. I hope that answers your question.
That's great, Ruin. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ruin.
Oh, and Sophia says thank you as well. Right. I'm really glad that we caught that question at least. I won't ask you for final words of wisdom because I think I've gotten all of your wisdom. So on that note, I hope everyone has a really lovely day and hope to see you later for the Veets workshop. Thank you guys, and thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Ed. Thanks, guys.